greatest. He was the greatest.
Never made one of these, and you were still responding because I was so mad at you for leaving. And then when you went quiet...
Best fighters ever to have lived in the sport of MMA. Not boxing, not
decision,
anything else, but MMA. So like, strip all that away and I don't want to be sat here next year going, do you know what? Sold out this, sold out that, beat him. I had a good run there and people talk about me and people say, oh, that Darren Till. I don't want that like to ever be said. I want people to say, see him there, Darren Till, see the things he done, look back on it, he was one of the best ever.
So what happened to Darren Till? With his recent departure from the UFC in February 28th, it's left fans wondering what happened to this once vibrant Scouse man that made waves coming into the UFC and getting his own title shot eventually at the welterweight division. And now that he has left the UFC, his name has become distant. It's faded into the horizon. People are now wondering what happened to Darren Till. Today I will guide you from the very beginning to now the very end of what is left of Darren Till's career. This will be the rise and fall of Darren Till.
In all my life of fighting, right, Dan, I've been fighting since I was 13. I've never fought a striker like that, so I had to use every part.
Darren Till was born in Liverpool, England on December 24th, 1992, where he describes that his early life wasn't ever the best. He grew up on the Delamere Street in Walton, which has experienced tons of knife and gun crime throughout the years of his entire youth. Around this area, there were gangs, violence, and crime, whereas Darren Till as a kid would describe how he robbed grocery stores for candy, he would throw eggs at cars, and do other nefarious things as a youthful child. It wasn't until Darren Till hit the age of 12 where he decided to get into combat sports, with his first one being Muay Thai, where he would actually drop out of high school at the age of 14 to pursue this passion in Muay Thai and eventually become a professional just only a year later. Then, once Darren Till first hit 17, he then first joined his first MMA gym. As Darren Till would continue his training in MMA, he would go through several struggles throughout the course of his teenage years, mostly bouncing around from house to house after being kicked out from his mother. And then the biggest incident for Darren Till would be him getting stabbed in 2012 after getting into an altercation with men at a party. After the alleged stabbing, Darren Till's coach advised him to eventually move to Brazil with a former trainer of the current MMA gym that he was at.
Let me go off to train at another gym in another country. Yeah. That's how open-minded he is.
His coach mainly wanted to get him away from all the trouble and the violence surrounding the area at the time. Eventually, Darren Till did take this advice, where he joined Astra Fight Team in Brazil, where he planned to spend the next 6 months there, but actually ended up spending 3 years there. Darren Till in 2012 and 2013 would spend most of his time focusing on MMA full-time, racking up 3 amateur wins, and then absolutely tearing through the competition to lead him to the UFC. Darren Till would finally get into the UFC with a record of 11-0.
I was just relaxed, I wasn't trying. First round of feeling out, processing, I caught him and...
Darren Till's career would get off to a quick start when he fought veteran Brazilian Wendell Oliveira at UFC Fight Night 67, where he won by knockout by elbows in round number 2. With that fight, it would kick off the stardom that Darren Till would eventually become. He would continue to rack win after win in the UFC to eventually getting his biggest name at the time being Donald Cerrone. Donald Cowboy Cerrone was one of the most respected fighters in the UFC at the time. However, he was coming off against 2 losses in a row against Jorge Masvidal and Robbie Lawler. Nevertheless, Darren Till would finish Cowboy Cerrone in the first round, cementing himself as one of the biggest names to come through the welterweight division yet. However, Cowboy Cerrone would not be Darren Till's biggest matchup, because in his next outing, he would get Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, who was widely known as one of the best strikers inside the UFC at the time. Darren Till would fight Stephen Thompson at UFC Fight Night 130, where he would not come without complications. Darren Till would originally miss weight by 3.5 pounds, being over the limit, but was able to negotiate with Wonderboy's team that he would not weigh over more than 188 pounds on the day of the fight, and he would also give Thompson's team 30% of his purse. Darren Till would win a controversial decision in a very slow-paced fight against Wonderboy Thompson, but even though it may not have been one of the most exciting fights to watch, It led to Darren Till's post-fight interview, where he would have the most inspirational interview and inspire fans all over the UK.
Who does the gorilla want next?
Everyone and anyone, I don't care. I'm not scared of anyone. No one.
There would be no doubt that Darren Till would get his title shot against current title holder Tyron Woodley. Darren Till would now be the new hyped up fighter since the departure of former middleweight champion Michael Bisping. Darren Till would now be able to cement himself as one of the best UK fighters to ever do it with his win over Tyron Woodley and potentially becoming one of the biggest names in the sport at the time. However, it did not go Darren Till's way, where he only landed one strike and eventually lost by a Darce choke in the second round. This would create outrage among UK fans across the entire nation, leading to Darren Till's eventual downfall.
That point, the club was just going insane. I felt like everyone was having murder when I think back to it. And
with this loss to Tyron Woodley, it would mark the gradual decline of Darren Till's career. After the Woodley fight, Darren Till would face Jorge Gamebred Masvidal in UFC Fight Night 147, in which he dropped Jorge in the first round, but eventually was KO'd out cold in the second round. This would again spark more doubt for the UK fans and having faith in their beloved Darren Till. With Darren Till's struggle to make weight, he eventually moved up to the middleweight division to where he could perform better against this competition, which seemingly ended up benefiting Darren Till when he got his first win against Kelvin Gastelum after coming off a 2-loss losing streak. However, that would be the last victory of Darren Till's career, leading him down a road of injuries and laziness. Over the course of the next 3 years, Darren Till would be scheduled for 6 bouts, but only being able to make 3 of them while being injured for the other 3. He fought Robert Whittaker on July 6, 2020, where he lost by unanimous decision. He then would pull out from an undisclosed injury against Jack Hermanson. Then he again was scheduled to face Marvin Vettori on April 10, 2021, and on the week before his fight, he broke his collarbone. Several months later, he would face Derek Brunson in a UFC Fight Night, and this is where fans started to notice some of the inadequacies of Darren Till's physique, his stature, and many started to question if Darren Till was still even taking training seriously. And this would also begin Darren Till's constant ACL tearing issues that he has announced that he has had over the course of the last few years. On July 23, 2022, Darren Till was again scheduled to face Jack Hermanson at UFC Fight Night 208, but again was injured and also pulled out of the fight. The fans began to outrage. People began to lose complete hope in Darren Till. After they watched his Derek Brunson performance, there was already very little hope that he would be successful again in the UFC. But now that he is hurting himself on a very common occasion, UK fans have now completely disowned Darren Till at this point. But there was one hope. There could only be one man that could save Darren Till's career at the time, because what he was lacking was grappling defense. In the bout versus Derek Brunson, this is what Darren Till lacked the most, was takedown defense. And the one man that could help him improve that would be Khamzat Chimaev.
So now it's Team Smash Bros for life. Gonna take over, aren't we?
Kill everybody, smash everybody.
With their newfound friendship and stardom going across the internet, people began to be very intrigued by the relationship between Khamzat Chimaev and Darren Till. They were entertaining, they were funny, they made great content, and it became one of the most unexpected friendships in the UFC, with Khamzat Chimaev being one of the new up-and-coming prospects and already cementing himself as one of the best grapplers by taking little to no damage in his bouts and completely destroying his opponents in the first round. People thought that Khamzat Chimaev would be able to help train Darren Till to improve his grappling defense. And there were videos. There were plenty of videos to show for it. You would see clip after clip after clip of Darren Till and Khamzat Chimaev training, doing weightlifting, doing numerous activities that gave hope to the UK fan base and overall the Darren Till fan base as well. Then on December 10th, 2022, Darren Till was set to fight up-and-coming South African fighter Dricus du Plessis. This would be all on the line for Darren Till, as he would be 1-4 in his last 5 fights. But fans were quickly disappointed when Darren Till lost the bout by rear naked choke in round 3. But fans had already noticed in Darren Till that he wasn't training as hard. With this loss, Darren Till's career would officially be over. And the fan base knew it was over at that time. They looked at Darren Till's body, they saw Darren Till's physique, they knew he wasn't training as hard. The hope coming from Khamzat Chimaev did not come through. Darren Till's career was officially over. over. Darren Till would eventually leave the UFC on the 28th of February 2023, claiming that he left because he wanted to be let go to pursue other options. So what has Darren Till done outside of the UFC so far? Apparently Darren Till has launched his new fight club called Guerrilla Fight Club alongside South African businessman and politician Dudzwane Zuma, which now means we can look forward to Darren Till hosting boxing matches in the near future. It is safe to say that this probably won't garner much attention, with the man that he is working with is known for insider corruption. So it would be extremely unlikely for Darren Till to ever revive his career and return to the UFC. So yeah, that's pretty much Darren Till's career down the drain. This whole Guerrilla Fight Club thing is dumb. That pretty much tells me that his career is done. There's nothing left for him to do anymore. It feels bad, man, and now I'm kind of done with the whole documentary shit stick. I'm being my normal self here. I'm putting my own personal opinion into this. But Darren Till ruined his career. From the time he went to middleweight, he didn't care about fighting anymore. This guy pretty much neglected his kids. He has 3 daughters. There's a time period where he went over a year without seeing his daughters, probably even more now since he's been doing, I don't know, nothing in the UFC. But he basically did all of that just for him to give up on his career. We all saw his physique in the Derek Brunson fight. We all saw his physique in the Dricus du Plessis fight. He was not training seriously at all. And there's no way you can even convince me he was training seriously at all, because he wasn't. Darren Till didn't care anymore. He looked flabby. He looked out of shape. He didn't look like himself. And he was also way too small for the division. When he fought Dricus, he was really undersized. When you compare the two of them together before the fight, between Dricus and Darren Till, you saw a person who actually trained in Dricus, who was yoked and shredded, and who was in fight shape. And then you saw Darren Till, who was a flabby, no muscle mass, soft body. Like, let's be honest, he wasn't anything for that. Which, I don't know, man. Darren Till is, it's over for him. It's over for him. I'm upset. This whole Guerrilla Fight Club, the guy he's working with is a legit scammer. I'm pretty sure the guy has political corruption. Like, he has charges on shit like that. So what is Darren Till even doing? And like, it's for like influencers. Bro, nobody is going over to South Africa to fucking box for Darren Till. What is he thinking? What is he doing? Dude, go over to BKFC and get a couple wins and get back in the UFC. You know, fight a Jake Paul or Logan Paul. Get one of the huge names so you can make some money. Do something that's going to benefit you, not put you in more of a deep shit hole that you're already in. Darren Till, fix your shit, bro, or else you're going to end up being broke. We're going to see Darren Till in the next 5 years be broke and living on the street, working at McDonald's. Do something, Darren Till, because you need to do something immediately to fix your life, not just your career, your life. It's important. But that's it. That's my documentary for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that video. It's a bit of a change up from what I usually normally do. But yeah, I enjoyed a lot of editing for this one. It will be a lot of editing, but that's all I have for you guys for today. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe. Hit the bell icon. I need that. Get notified whenever I post or do anything. But that's it. Appreciate y'all for watching. Peace.